It's I.A.G Farms. It's all about God. Early Sunday morning. Well, not early actually. It's actually about 10 o'clock because we're getting out of bed kind of late. It's kind of rainy day today, and we're just down here in the pig pen, the pig pasture. Just got done feeding Biscuit back here. We're just kind of getting acclimated to this new pasture pig system, and trying to just get our feet back wet and get back going with these pasture pigs. So far, we have 2 pigs on pasture. We got the boys in here today. Last video, the boys weren't here. And so me and Megan had to do the training of the pigs. But we got the boys in there now, kind of getting the pig trained up and just kind of like putting their hands on him. He's actually came a long way so far because when we first got him in here, we couldn't even get that close to him without him running and acting crazy. But you know, we've actually been able to, in 2 days, we're actually able to touch him now. So I'm gonna just take y'all in here and let y'all see what the boys have going on, how they're training them up. All right, so as you see, all the boys in here knelt down, and we have a little bit of food there. And you see they're calling the pig, and they're not like aggressively trying to rub the pig. They're just holding their hands out and letting him be able to get, you know, a sense of a feel for our touch, to know that our touch is not a threat. Like, but that when we come around and we touch you, like it's good things that happen. Like you get fed, you get treats and things like that. So that's what we have going on now. Me and Mama are in here just supervising. Yeah. Like I said, we're still in our pajamas. We hadn't even, you know, put on any clothes and things like that. We just got on our muck boots and our pajamas, and we're out here doing farm chores. Yeah, spending time with the pigs. That's the beautiful thing about it, though, is that, you know, now that we live down here, we can do these type things. Because before, you know, we didn't live down here, and we just came down every other day and fed the animals. And that's why, you know, animals ended up in the state like this pig, where they were wild and halfway feral. But now we're able to spend time with our animals and get personal with them. So once we get done working with the pig this morning, we'll probably take y'all just kind of on a walk, do like a walk and talk. It rained pretty much all night last night, and y'all know us, we love to walk around and, you know, look at the property and see how the creeks are running and things like that. You know, see what type of damage has been done, you know, by the rain after it rained. So let's get done training this pig up and working with him this morning, and then we'll just kind of do a walk and talk and just see what we can. Let's just do it, a little bit of exploring and see what we can find today. So y'all join us for this journey. It's I.A.G Farms. It's all about God. All right, y'all, so we're back out here again, and it's probably about 2 hours later. We went in, had a late like breakfast / lunch, had some good old pancakes on the wood stove. And we just come back out to check on the pigs, see how they're doing, and to do our walk around the property, see how the property is doing. And yeah, we don't have any type of plan on what we're gonna talk about. We're just gonna do a walk and talk around the property and kind of, you know, just see what things are looking like and kind of give y'all updates. And kind of talk to y'all about the, you know, last couple weeks or so. I can't remember the last time we did a walk and talk. It's probably been about 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. So we like to do these walk and talks every now and then to kind of, you know, instead of doing like a live stream, we do like a walk and talk. Maybe eventually we'll do like a live stream. But now we just kind of walk and talk and, you know, answer some of you all's questions and just talk to you about some of the things that we have going on, because I know you only get a small piece of what's going on, you know, with the videos, you know, because we edit them and do all those type things. So sometimes we like to just have just a raw, you know, walk and talk and just talk to y'all about what's going on and just to walk around and check the property out. So yeah, the little boy seems like he's doing pretty good. We put him down some hay and everything in there, and he's pacing back and forth because he's ready to, to go out on pasture and start foraging with old Biscuit out there. But we're still trying to get him trained up. We need him to be to the point to where he doesn't run from us when we come up. We need to be able to touch him, and we need him to not run from us, you know, when we walk up. Yeah, but they're doing good. Pigs are doing good. Like I said, we had a bunch of rain come in last night. It rained pretty much all night last night.
Yeah, I think the last time we did a walk and talk, it was
after a big rain.
After a big rain, and like it was drizzling
Yeah.
as we were walking.
That's usually when we walk around the property, is out there rains, because we like to, you know, see what the property looks like. And I did a video one time about, you know, new property owners. That's one of the main things you should do, is to walk your property, you know, after it rains and also during the rain sometimes. Yeah, I remember 3 o'clock at the creek with the Ryobi flashlight. Yeah, I didn't get out there at 3. I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I didn't go out in the rain. So, yep. Because that creek wasn't there when we, you know, first bought the property and things. The water kind of was just wild and untamed, and it would like just flow all in this bottom pasture area. And
to the area before the creek, it would just rush, almost like flood.
It would flood. Yeah, it would be like a couple inches of water. Yeah, yeah. It rushed through.
Yeah, it would just rush through really, really quickly and flood for a moment, and then it would just be gone.
Yeah, the water would literally be like 4, 6, man, I don't know, maybe about 3, 4 inches. You know, when you stepped in it, and but you know, after about 30 minutes, you'll be able to drive a truck through there that doesn't have 4-wheel drive to be solid. Yes, because it just rushes through real fast. It doesn't soak in. Yeah, but we know now, and that's why it's important to, you know, get to know your property and where the water flows, because we know not to build anything substantial, you know, down there. And anything that we do build down there, we know to build it up, you know, like on stilts. You know, like if we want to build a little barn or equipment shed or something like that, we just need to make sure that it doesn't stop the water flow, you know, to make it, you know, make the water settle. Yeah.
Yeah, this actually is my favorite type of rain, and also my favorite type of weather. I don't necessarily like the rain because of the mud.
Yeah.
But I do like this, just a little bit of nip in the air.
Yeah.
Where it's not, you know,
chill.
freezing cold, but it's just a little nippy. You can throw on a jacket, you know, you can lightly fire up the wood stove.
Yeah, do a little bit of cooking, but make your coffee. Not have to worry about snakes, because snakes are real bad, you know, once you get in this bottom section. Not real bad, you know, you get a water moccasin here and there, maybe a copperhead here and there, but mostly black racers and king snakes, you know. But we had to learn to, you know, like moving from the city, because I was looking up the stats, and the city we moved from in Mississippi was like a city of over like 400,000, you know, 50,000, maybe even 1 million. I don't know, like I don't know how many people live in that city. But you know, now the city that we've moved to, this city has less than 1,000, you know, people, you know, and that's not even like really for back here in these back roads where we are, because there is a town part to this city that we'll have our property in, and you know, count the town. So I really don't even count the town, because we're so far away from the town of this city, you know. So it's probably less than like 500 people, you know, like off in these back roads in this country part that we live in. So yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
I'm actually excited to see what the pond is looking like, because it literally rained all night off and on, and all morning just off and on. It's been raining, so it was already full to the brim in my mind. So I'm just excited to see, you know, is it more full? Did it level out? So we'll see what it's looking like when we get up here.
Get through this mud. We don't have our muck boots on anymore.
I have my house shoes on.
We switched over to our to Crocs now. Crocs and house shoes. So, walking up by the pond now, I just kind of turn y'all around and let y'all see what we see. All right, so as y'all have seen on previous videos, we have like a little secondary overflow pond over here. But this is the main pond here. And we're walking up on the overflow here for this pond. Eventually we're gonna put a pipe in right here, maybe.
Oh yeah.
But it's looking good.
Super full.
What you think?
It's great. It's super full, and I'm glad that I actually came out one day last week and raked out the duckweed that was on the edges of the pond, and I'm glad I did that, because it looks like, you know, the rain and the overflow is pushing out that green sludgy stuff that the duckweed creates. So hopefully that helped, you know, clear up the pond, because I'm trying to get ahead of it before spring, hoping that if I get it out now, when spring comes, it won't take over the pond. So I'm excited. It is more full. It actually got more full, and I didn't think it could do that, because you can see the overflow, like he was showing you before, is overflowing. So it looks great though. I think it looks nice.
That's actually a good update because on our last video, that's actually one of the things that the viewers told us about, because we didn't know what the green stuff was in the pond. But you all told us that it was duck week, and you told us that one of the things that we could do was what we actually looked it up. I think after they told us that it was duck week, and we looked up like what were the things that we could do to get rid of it. And one of the main things was just get a rake and rake it out.
Aerating.
Aerate it, yeah. And
I think it got natural.
We're out here off grid with aeration and all that fancy stuff.
I think it was naturally
aerated by the
rain causing more flow.
Movement, yeah.
Yeah, more movement in the pond. So maybe they added also some air. Just it moving around, I think is healthy.
Yeah, and you can kind of see the wind kind of blows the water and moves it around. And the fish, they flop up every now and then and move it around. So I just kind of walk around the pond dam and kind of show them some of the piles, because some of those piles of duck wheat that you pulled out, we gave it to the pigs.
Fed to the pigs.
I'm not sure if they ate it or not. Did they ever eat that duck wheat?
I think they did finally eat it.
Yeah.
It was not desirable. It's not their first choice, but once it laid there for a couple of days,
they ate it. Yeah. Get. Dog peeing in the pond. Yep, but the pond is looking good and tall. As you can see, when it rains, it comes right up, because I think on last video, it wasn't right up there, to the dam like that. But it gets right up there, and then once it gets to a certain point, it starts to go over that overflow. But it's good and full now.
They actually made it easy for me to rake it out.
Yeah. You're the aerator. We got manuals and things around here. Can't have all that fancy stuff. There's a little bit left over from when you pulled it out. We got some piles that she left on the sides. And the fish are pretty active too. Me and the boys tried to go fishing, but we didn't have any bait, so our fish don't really like that fake bait. Country fish don't like fake bait. What you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they want real stuff. Worms, crickets.
Caught a few worms, but we could never get to fishing in time for them. They escape.
Nope.
They escape, or they, die out before we can get fishing.
All right, a little bit muddy over here.
There it is.
Oh yeah. As y'all can see, here go a couple piles of duck wheat that Megan pulled out. She just raked it out with the rake. Yep, so thank you all for letting us know what it was. That way we could, look it up to see how to get it out. So the pond looks a whole lot better. Still a little bit, as you can see. A little bit there. And you can see a little bit of it still growing. Those little leaves there are going to get big like that in about a week. And then Megan will come back, or somebody will come out and rake it up. And take it grab.
They pushed it. I think this I had got loosened but couldn't get to, and I think the rain pushed it to the edge for me. So thank you. Thank you,
God. Yeah.
Thank you, God, for the rain.
That's good. And yeah, you can see a little bit of it out here in this section. Yeah, because usually when the pond is low, like none of this. Let's walk over here.
You can walk out there. Yeah. I have to wait till the pond goes back down for that.
That'll get you some, what they call them, the things that go up where you can walk off in the pond. Some waders, yeah. That'd be a good video. Megan wading out in the pond. You can see the fish, they're all on. They love it when this pond is high like this. They're all out. And this would be a good swimming hole here for the boys to learn how to swim. Because we know it's pretty low, but now that the pond is high, it's probably like, what, past your waist there. But you can see some duck wheat out here on this line here. Because when the pond is low, that's usually where the pond stops at. But now that this is high, it fills up this little section right here.
You can even see the grass where this is typically all just a grassy area.
Yeah, Yeah, so you can see the pond has kind of like overtaken the grass in there. Because usually you can walk on this section and this dry ground. But it's amazing. We love it. Yeah. This pond has been here for a long time, so we don't want to do too much to it. But we want to do just enough, to like make it better. That's right. But that's what we want to do. We don't want to come in and make things worse. Right. We want to come in and make things better. That's what it's all about. We've moved from the city, off grid, and we're trying to develop these sustainable systems so where we can grow our own food, raise our own animals in a good and healthy way to where, you know, like when we for example, putting the pigs on pasture, you know, like we're moving the pigs around and moving the sheep around and moving the animals around, so they're not stealing all the nutrient from the soil, but they're taking nutrient from the soil to be able to eat, and then they're adding back to it when they move as well, so they can come back around and do it again. So it's just amazing.
That's so true. It's like you have to hit that sweet spot where you're there just the right amount of time to take what needs to be taken and to add
what needs to be added.
Because
if you don't touch it at all, you know, nature is just gonna take over. You know, God's nature is just gonna take over. So it needs to be managed, because in its natural state, I guess, without sin, like, it would be perfect. You know, and if we didn't touch it, it would stay perfect. But now, you know, sin mixed into the equation, you know, it makes things begin to like want to die. You know, weeds go to disorder. Like weeds want to pop up, and you know, like things like that. Erosion wants to take place when all the weeds pop up and kill all the grass. You know, and the dirt wants to leave and move to the topsoil. So we had to come in, you know, make sure that the weeds don't take over. You know, because what are those little weeds called that grow in the springtime that'll take over the pasture? I had to look them up and put a link in right here.
No, you mean the thorny ones?
Yeah, the thorny ones. Because we had these weeds that come in Mississippi, or at least around this part of Mississippi, that they'll take over your pasture. You know, if you don't cut them down and bush hog them or put animals out there to eat them. Yeah.
So true. So we have to take dominion. You know, the original dominion that the Lord gave us. You know, through the strength of the Holy Spirit. You know, leading us and guiding us. You know, we can reclaim, you know, the order that God set.
That's right. Yep. Restore those things that have been broken. Because sin is the reason that everything is chaotic and in turmoil in the whole world. And so we have to figure out the answer to sin and how do we like combat sin. And it's one simple answer: Jesus. You know, it all starts with Jesus, and then he gives us the different strategies on what we can do, you know, to take back territory.
And you know, when you were talking about, you know, making a place better, I immediately thought about Jesus.
Yeah.
And I immediately thought about the Holy Spirit, you know, and how the atmosphere changes when God's presence is there. You know, and he immediately makes the atmosphere better. That's right. Know, he immediately makes it holy. You know, like he changes the atmosphere and makes things better. You know, so.
That's right.
When we're doing that, we're like being in his image, you know, in his name, in his likeness, when we do the things that he would do.
That's good. Let's walk over here into this pasture over here. Talk to y'all about some of the plans that we have over here. So I don't know if you all noticed on some of our videos that we had this pasture here with H braces set up. There's gonna be a farm gate there, and we used to have a camper here. An old fifth wheel camper that we had. This is our old campsite, and we have all of our posts in, you know, to stretch our fencing up, because we have posts over there going down all the way to down here, and then you can see a post on this backside here. So this whole pasture here, all the way down to where the back of the property is at, where the other campsite is at, where the barn is at. This is gonna all be pasture that we're gonna use for rotational grazing of sheep, pigs, and different things like that. And it's probably about, what would you say, about 2-3 acres, something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around that, maybe 2 or 3, somewhere in there.
Because this whole property, I think, is about 5 acres. You know, really, like in the survey says 5 acres, but it's pretty hilly, so it's really more like you know, probably 7 acres. Because I think that's the you know, how they kind of like broke this land up, because all this land used to be family land around here, and it was like hundreds of acres, and they broke it up into like 7-acre parcels, and this property ended up being like 5 acres once we got it surveyed. So I think they meant for it to be 7 acres. So it's kind of like between, you know, 4 to 7 acres, something like that. And we have about 3 acres that we're fencing off right here. And so eventually it'll just be sheep and pigs and just different animals out here rotating in this small little pasture section. And we've started moving our trailers over here into this section over here. There's a little wet spot, so we'll start right here. But we started moving trailers over here, so we're thinking about like lining up our trailers over here on this section right here. And eventually, because this is the section that we were talking about, like where the water rushes through it, because that's the creek, and the water rushes and it meets up with the creek, and then it runs off the property over here. And so we figured out that the water rushes through this section just from observing it. You know, after for about 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years, we observed it, and we know that the water rushes through in this lowest part over here. But once you get over here, it's just a little bit higher on this side, and so the water doesn't really touch over here. And so what our plan is, my plan that I'm coming up with is to build like a small little equipment shed, barn, something like that in this section, where we can keep all of our fishing stuff and the fish feed and probably even animal feed and things like that. Because right now we keep everything in the mini barn. So this would be another little spot where we can have a little shelter, a little barn or whatever we'll build in the next couple of years, and have animal feed, you know, just different stuff like that. And maybe have a little section of bag like trailers and equipment under that we don't want to get wet. Yeah. Any vision that you have for this section?
Yeah, like you said, I can't wait to get an equipment shed here so we can actually park some of our very expensive fancy equipment underneath it, because it's just getting wet right now. But yeah, having some sort of shed where we could store equipment and even some tools and things like that, that I think that would be great. And then pastures, you know, we're gonna rotate the animals like you were saying, you know, have pigs in one section, then move them, and then really want to use the grass for the sheep, you know. So the pigs will probably get the more wooded sections, and the sheep will get the grassier sections, and we'll still be able to rotate them. Just, you know, learning for us how long to keep pigs there, how long to keep sheep in a certain spot. That's going to be fun. So that's what we'll use this section of pasture for.
You see those 2 birds just flew by?
I did. They just
came right up on us.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why the camera shook, because those 2 birds that just swooped down. Like, yeah.
Hey, what are you doing?
Exactly. You wouldn't believe it though, but we actually had about 30 hogs here in this section. Like, this was the last section that we rotated that first batch of hogs at. Yeah, because I pulled the cattle hauler down in here and started loading them when they were finished, you know, when I decided to go and start selling them. I'll see if I can find some pictures or something to link in right here of the hogs when they were in this section. But you know, you don't see any big, like, I hadn't came through here with the tractor and smoothed anything out. It's just still the same. So you see, they didn't really, you know.
And I remember we rotated them. We were using the electric fence, you know, and you would throw out millet.
Yeah, behind them. Yeah, to cover the ground.
After they were done. Yeah, because I think it was in fall, winter.
Yeah.
And, you know, you had them still on pasture, rotating them, you know. We just throw out some, you know, millet behind them, and it was grass, just like, what's that, fall grass, winter grass?
It was like late summer, early fall, because the grass was still growing, but it was slowly growing because the millet would still take, because once it gets too cold, the millet won't take. So I know it was sometime, you know, late summer, early fall. So yeah, that's the plan for this little section down here. Majority gonna be pasture, and I want to build a little barn down here. We want to have barns all over, like little, you know, outhouse type barn sections around.
Put a little food, you know, as we rotate animals, so we won't have to have
everything in one barn all the way to the back. Because if we have animals up here, you know, by the pond, we want to have their feed up by the pond.
Exactly. It just makes it more efficient, so you don't have to use your side by side for everything.
Yeah.
But just loading it up is kind of a hassle.
Yeah.
So our plan for the pasture is basically to little by little. This daddy long leg just pasture my face. So the plan for the pasture is to fence it off little by little, just one, you know, section at a time, and we have it broken down into the sections.
Have it cross fenced. And also with the pigs, because we have a little bit of wooded area on this property, but we have a whole like 10 acres of woods down on our other property. And for some of you new subscribers, you might want to go back and watch some of the videos from the Woodlands, because we bought a property down the street, probably about 5 minutes down the road, and we call it the Woodlands. And it has an old farmhouse on it. You know, we call it the 100-year-old farmhouse, and we call it Resurrection Cabin. You know, we're planning on restoring.
Sorry, I was just trying to get over
across the creek. Yeah.
mud in the creek.
We're planning on restoring that farmhouse. So if you hadn't seen some of the videos from the Woodlands, go back and watch them. We hadn't been out there in literally probably 3 months. We hadn't been there, even though it's 5 minutes down the road. We hadn't had time.
Busy building that
barn. Yeah, but that's
tired from building.
Exactly, for real. So now we're just trying to recover from the last 2-3 months, because we completely like left the city, you know, and moved out here off grid, and sold our house. And hopefully tomorrow, you know, I'll be able to put out the video when we closed on the house and sold and everything and moved out. I've been holding that video because we've been waiting to close because you know, closing has taken 2 months pretty much.
Longer.
It's like we sold the house like the first day, really. You know, the first 2 days we sold the house, but we've been like working out paperwork and trying to close for the last 2 months. That sounds like a video title. Sold the house in 1 day, took 2 months to close. For real. But hopefully tomorrow we'll be closed. But anyway, so that second property, the Woodlands, is where we really want to move our pigs to. We want to raise our pigs in the woods because we have plenty of woodlands out there with plenty of acorns and different forage and things out there. So that's the plan for the pasture pigs. We want to just kind of get our feet back wet here.
Right, get them started going again.
Exactly.
And then we can move more out there as we grow and increase. As we outgrow the woodlands here, we can move them to the woodlands down the road. Because
we literally probably only have like, it's not even an acre
of
woods. It's just like, because most of this is pasture.
Just a section.
Just a section. Yep. 2 little sections. Yep. Coming back up on the campsite back here. I'm gonna just turn you around, let you see how beautiful it is back here, because we've actually been cleaning up back here. That's really what I've been doing all week, because somebody asked about insulation. And they said they thought we would have had the cabin insulated by now. And they asked about the temperature, actually.
Yeah.
And the temperature in Mississippi, it has, what has the temperature been over the last couple weeks?
It's been in the 50s and 60s during the day.
Yeah.
And
borderline hot.
A couple of nights it dropped down to being in the 30s, but that was only maybe 2 nights. And it was high 30s. It wasn't even that cold.
Yeah, so it hadn't been a big rush to get insulation in, because I really can do all the insulation inside of the cabin in 1 day.
Not even the whole day.
Yeah, it was a very small project. Yeah. Right. So it's a lot of little things, you know, that we need to do on the cabin, but we got it to a good place, you know, for where it's at now. And I've been working on getting things cleaned up back here. Just kind of getting some order, like getting all the old boards that I've cut in little pieces and things like that out the way, all the nails, and trying to just clean up
all the things that we neglected.
While
building
during those
the barn.
2 months.
We're trying to return to some sort of normalcy. On the farm, because, you know, we've been so focused on building the barn and grinding on the barn that the reason why we're even here is to farm and to take care of the animals and to
spend time as a family, establish a home.
And so we don't want to neglect those things. So since we've been so focused on the barn, now it's time to get back to our normal routine and things we would normally be doing. And then we'll continue to work on the barn, you know, now as need arises or as the time comes.
Because I still have to finish off sheathing the roof, the part of the roof that's over the camper, and put the black felt on there. And then I'm gonna come back with tin on top of the roof. And then we're looking for some old, like, rustic siding to put on the cabin part of the barn, because we don't want it to look too new. We want it to look rustic, off grid, you know, kind of old and like historic. You know, that's our plan. So yeah, I'm looking on Facebook Marketplace. I got my eyes open for like old barn siding, some type of like sawmill cutoffs or something like that. Something that can, you know, it's gonna hold up to the weather. It's not gonna rot and bring in like bugs and things like that. But something that's gonna look rustic and look good. Yeah, that's what we're shooting for. And so we pretty much showed y'all around most of the property that we occupy. It's other parts that we don't really go on. And, you know, it's hard to, even when you just have 5 acres, it's hard to, like, be on all of it and, you know, keep it all up. So we have these sections that we keep up and that we, you know, farm on and, you know, play on, have kids play here and things like that. So I guess we can kind of wind down. Any last thoughts as we close out this video?
I think we've covered pretty much everything, you know, for now. I'm sure there's more in the works, but you'll see it as it develops and as the Lord reveals it to us. So
that's right. So in the next couple of videos, we'll probably be back working on the cabin, and hopefully we'll get a chance to go to the woodlands one of these days. Every day I wake up, I'm always thinking like, maybe we can go to the woodlands today. And but you know, I want to get the tractor and take it out there and clear some of the trails off before I bring the kids out, because we have a bunch of trails going through the woods out there. So I want to get out there and clear the trails off and have it to where we can ride the 4-wheeler and side by side down the trails and enjoy that property as well. So y'all just look forward to many fun things to come in the days and the videos ahead. But as for now, it's I.A.G Farms. We'll see y'all on the next one.